Yeah, here's one. Haven't done a tech in a while, so here's an interesting one I haven't done. Been Mark Cuban on AI. If you don't think a Terminator will appear, you're crazy. Billionaire Mark Cuban didn't hold back when he recently discussed the dangers of artificial intelligence. Refusing to mince words, Cuban said, "Let me scare the shit out of you right now. All right? If you don't think by the time most of you are in your mid 40s that a Terminator will appear, you're crazy." Cuban is a billionaire entrepreneur, a star of the ABC reality show Shark Tank, and the owner of the Dallas Mavericks basketball team. He is also certain that a version of the Terminator is coming thanks to the advancements in artificial intelligence and robotics weaponry. Speaking to an audience of high school students at the High School Leadership Summit Turning Point USA event in Washington, D.C., Cuban laid down several serious warnings about the future of artificial intelligence, and among them was a reference to the 1984 movie The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as a cyborg assassin. For weaponry, we already have the ability to have weapons think. They're only going to go further and further as this technology progresses, declared Cuban. If we don't win this battle, the world is going to be upside down, and that scares the shit out of me. Back in November, the billionaire warned that the United States should not allow countries like China and Russia to pull ahead in terms of developing artificial intelligence. China's government has said it publicly it plans to be the global leader in artificial intelligence by 2030, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin said the one who becomes leader in this sphere will be the ruler of the world. And our defense organizations are starting to, but as a country, the administration is barely even acknowledging that this is an issue, Cuban said to Charlie Kirk of Artificial Intelligence Research in the United States. Kirk is the 24-year-old founder of Turning Point USA, a right-wing nonprofit organization which is aimed at promoting conservative political ideas among high school students. During his speech, while promoting the belief that politicians should leverage technology in their campaigns to best discover what drives voters and constituents, Cuban gave President Trump credit for always challenging the status quo. "I do give President Trump credit for always challenging the status quo," conceded the billionaire, before encouraging high schoolers in the room to go break shit in reference to entrenched power and structures and processes. And that is from Zero Hedge. Now, we just read what Cuban said about artificial intelligence, and even he mentioned that China and Russia are planning to pull ahead of us as far as artificial intelligence is actually concerned. So let me read you this one. "China leaving us behind on artificial intelligence," Air Force General says. This is from military.com. "China's massive investment in artificial intelligence technologies may soon leave the U.S. at a major disadvantage," a top Air Force general said Thursday. "Speed is of the essence in the digital age," said Lieutenant General Vera-Lynn Jamieson, Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance on the Air Force staff at the Pentagon. She painted a grim picture. While great instigator Russia has the desire to do ambitious experiments with AI, China already has the means. For example, China is building several digital artificial intelligence cities in a military-civilian partnership to understand how AI will be propagated as it strives to become the global leader in technology. The cities track human movement through artificial facial recognition software, watching citizens' every move as they go about their day. "We estimate the total spending on artificial intelligence systems in China in 2017 was $12 billion. We also estimate that it will grow to at least $70 billion by 2020, Jamieson said during an Air Force Association breakfast. "Go compare what we're spending to what China is spending," she added. The Pentagon, with each military service pursuing AI to varying degrees, is still spending hundreds of millions of dollars on the effort. According to independent research group Govini, the Pentagon spent roughly $7.4 billion on emerging technologies in fiscal 2017, While AI accounted for roughly 33% of that total, the spending also includes quantum computing and big data analysis, as well as other information technology. Because the Air Force has been heavily entrenched in the counterterrorism effort for the past 2 decades, we did not look across the entire spectrum to build and think and develop a high-end fight that we believe we are facing today. Jameson said, our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance enterprise today is not postured to meet these challenges with the intent laid out in the National Defense Strategy. Jameson is pushing the Air Force to think differently about how it should use autonomy while keeping the human in the loop. For example, the service is shifting from discussing a single advanced weapon to discussing more broadly how emerging technologies must network going forward. Reiterating similar comments she made last year, Jameson said the goal is to use AI to sift through millions of intelligence and sensor-gathered data points, visual, audible, etc., to give the airmen the answers they need to make real-time decisions that will aid those in a physical or virtual battle space. We do need our analysts to harmonize the data to decision quality at speed, she said, adding, we must build the next generation ISR enterprise capable of possessing decision advantage across the entire spectrum of conflict. Jameson pushed a cultural change the Air Force has been grappling with for some time, transition from a manpower-intensive approach to one that leverages machine learning and artificial intelligence. That journey will begin with data, to analytics, to machine intel, to human and machine teaming, she said. Industry and airmen will be asked to increase the quality and quantity of ISR production while remaining competent across the range of military operations. We are going to do this as a team, she said. Jameson said the services must not look at large data gathering as only as a source of information. Data is a weapon, and all of us need to treat data in this light. For that reason, airmen and future generations of airmen need to be unleashed, she said. Airmen today understand the true blending of physical and virtual worlds that will be needed to sustain the next fight against either Russia or China, she said. Jameson said in recent months she has met airmen who've been able to streamline data collection between various platforms through coding techniques. Airmen at the 480th ISR wing realized the software they were using in their favorite video game. It allowed for coordination between approximately 55 users from another game in real time in order to complete an assignment. Could be used for training in the unit. The airmen built a low-cost military version called Sentinel Sim, something that would have cost billions if the Air Force had created it or contracted it out, Jameson said. Today, the game is used for live mission training scenarios. Between airmen, industry, and the Pentagon as a whole, this is now a team sport, Jameson said, and we have to look at it that way. I think I've been saying for at least the last 2 years, maybe 3, depending on who's listening to me. This is coming. Well, it's already here. I said it was coming 3 years ago. It's here. It's real. Now, I told you almost 3 years ago that it was going to be a technological arms race, a high-tech arms race, including artificial intelligence. Not only as far as military, but also industrial, banking, you name it. And all these things intertwine and cross over. So the faster the military develops AI, the faster it's going to develop elsewhere. And while as far as jobs are concerned and the local economy is concerned, you want to slow this down. And if it was internal, you probably would slow down the rate of change as far as technology and artificial intelligence and things like that, things of this nature. When it becomes an arms race, all bets are off. Because in this case, second place is highly detrimental. And when the military gets into it, because you just heard Mark Cuban and an Air Force lieutenant in the Pentagon talking about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen rapidly. And it's going to happen a lot faster than we think, because everybody's talking about this. And when the military gets into it, it's going to advance even faster, because the military will push the envelope, and they can push the envelope. They are the one organization in the country that can get things done very rapidly when they set their minds to it, because there is no liberalism in the military. It's objective. Once they make up their minds that this is what they need to do, they're going to do it. And they will contract out people to do it. And those contractors will make not only military versions, but civilian versions. Quantum computers, robots, artificial intelligence, all these different types of streams will be developed very rapidly. So a battlefield robot will make its way into a factory. An artificial intelligence will make its way into a drone, also make its way into even something like a sex doll. Because not only do militaries compete, but businesses compete. Different countries' economies compete. And so now it's a race, and China is pushing this race. China is pushing the envelope. What we think is unthinkable, China will do. It's unthinkable to surveil a whole city in America. China does it without even thinking about it. They don't have one, they have three. We put in $1 billion, they put in 12. Because we're fighting the last war. We are caught up and concentrated in World War II thinking. China doesn't have that mentality. China's not thinking of the past war, they're thinking of the next war, because for them, the next war is more important, because the old war didn't mean anything to them. And this stuff will trickle down into your everyday life. It's going to your smartphones, to your computers, to your bank accounts, everything. There's an article I'm going to read, if I can find it, about a bank taking away ATM cards and using smartphones to access ATM machines. So anyway, just catching up and talking about what is. And now that I told you it was coming, and this is just me letting you know the headlines are actually proving us right. Buckle up, keep your nose to the grindstone, but keep your eyes on the horizon. With that, I'm going to check out of here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.